Hello, welcome to Candy Cooks For You. Today we are going to talk about rice. Rice is a grain similar to cereal or wheat or oats. The actual grain that is the rice that we eat is the whole seed of a plant that's grown and harvested and processed for consumption. Rice is grown on every continent on Earth except for Antarctica. It's the third highest worldwide production after sugarcane and maize. In 2011, genetic evidence showed that all forms of Asian rice sprang from a single domestication that occurred 8,200 to 13,500 years ago in the Pearl River Valley region of ancient China. I don't know about you, but we eat rice quite a bit in my household as either on the side of a dish or as part of the dish itself. And I know from personal experience, it took me a while to learn how to cook rice. Like, I literally was like a lot of people where I would buy a special gadget to help cook rice, like a rice cooker. I had this at one point in time, and I probably still have it around here somewhere. It was like a 4-tiered steaming machine where you could put like vegetables in it and rice and like cook all these things all at one time. I was like a big as seen on TV type of person. I would love to buy all those type of gadgets that I would see on TV, and it did make cooking rice very simple and very easy, but it was really unnecessary and it took up a lot of space in my kitchen. And this is when I, was living in an apartment, and as you well know, a lot of apartments don't have large kitchens. You can't really store a lot of kitchen gadgets. What I want to do tonight is take all of the mystery out of cooking rice for you. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how to cook rice in a pot on the stovetop, and it is so easy. So let's get started. So here on top of my stove is my pot. It's just a regular quart-size pan, and we're gonna fill it with 2 cups of water, which I have right here. Let's pour the water in. And then we have 1 cup of rice, which we're gonna pour in here. And I did use the standard, this is a solid measuring 1 cup. And then for the water, we're gonna use a liquid measuring cup. There is a difference. So you wanna make sure that you use the appropriate measuring tool. We're gonna put the lid on our rice, and then we're just gonna turn on the heat to the stove to about, I don't know, medium high. We want it to boil. Let's get our rice nice and submerged. We're gonna leave this on the stovetop until it starts to boil. I would say that's gonna take about, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your cookware and whether or not you have a gas stove or not. So we'll be back when this starts to boil. Okay, so as you can see, my rice kind of started boiling over, and that's fine. If you see it doing that, you just kind of want to take the lid off and kind of move it. Oh, that's what I do. I just move it over just a little bit to allow some of that pressure from the steam to come out. But we're going to continue cooking it. You might want to lower the heat just a little since it's already boiling, because it's going to continue to cook. You just want to kind of keep it at a nice moderate heat so it can continue to boil. We're gonna let this continue to boil until all of the water is evaporated, and we'll be back when that happens. Okay, so we're back with our rice that's cooking here on top of the stove, and as you can see, all of the water has evaporated. So we're just going to cover it completely. I'm gonna turn this off just for a second, just to make sure that there's still enough moisture in this pot so that my rice isn't going to burn. So I'm gonna lift the lid and kind of give it a nice stir. And I can see that there's still a considerable amount of water left in the bottom of the pan. So we're just still waiting for all of this water to evaporate, but the rice is coming along really nicely. I'm just gonna replace the lid on top of the pan, turn my heat back on, and I'm just gonna lower the heat to a simmer, because right now, all we really want is the steam in this pan. The steam is what's gonna cook the rice. We really want all of the water just to evaporate. So we're gonna let this cook for a couple more minutes. I would say like 2 to 3 minutes, maybe a few minutes longer than that, maybe like 5 minutes. All of this water should be completely evaporated for the most part. From the time I started this pot cooking until now has only been about maybe 10 minutes to get to this point where most of the water has already cooked out and the rice is starting to cook up and become tender. So after a couple of minutes, the water is going to completely evaporate. And at that point, what I like to do is turn the heat off and take advantage of the steam that's left in the pot. So when I do that, the steam will continue to cook the rice, even though there's no water and no heat left on the pan or inside the pan. So let's give this a couple more minutes for the water to completely evaporate. Once it does that, the rice will take just a couple more minutes and it'll just continue to cook using the steam that's already left in the pan. Okay, we're back. We're down to the last couple minutes of this rice cooking project. I've turned the heat off on my stove because I can see that the water is pretty much gone now. I'm just gonna take my spoon and kind of stir it. Yeah, the water is completely evaporated and this rice is pretty much done. Like I said earlier, I like to just take advantage of the steam that's left in the pot and so I'll let it sit. I'll turn the heat off like I did, and I will just let the pot sit and utilize what's left of the steam in there to finish cooking the rice. Your rice at this point is perfect. So now you are ready to serve your rice as a side dish or use it underneath some stir fry, but you're ready to go. And that was super easy. It literally only took about 10 minutes. You just really have to monitor the heat in your pan. You have to make sure that your water doesn't overboil and come out of the top of your pan. But like I said, all you really want to utilize to cook your rice and have it come out perfect is the steam inside the pan. Thanks for watching.